All right, are you going to participate in the upcoming election?
Depends on who the candidates are.
Trump and Biden that have been clearly stated explicitly?
Yeah, because I'm 20 and I watch the news.
I'm 17 and I watch the news. I'm sorry.
On this episode of Not Above But Equal, you have two young women of color taking the world by storm. On the right, you have 31-year-old Candace Owens representing the conservatives. And on the left, you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, representing the liberals.
She's looking at herself on television right now. How are you feeling? Can you put it into words?
Nope.
This is a 28-year-old AOC back in 2018 after an upset victory over Joe Crowley for New York's 14th Congressional District.
I cannot believe these numbers right now, but I do know that every single person here has worked their butt off to change the future of the Bronx and Queens. That's what I know.
The rest was history. AOC never looked back, going after false ad campaigns, climate change, and citizens' privacy.
Do you see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking on political advertisements?
Well, Congresswoman, I think lying is bad, and I think if you were to run an ad that had a lie, that would be bad. That's different from it being, for in our position, the right thing to do to prevent your constituents or people in an election from seeing that you had lied.
So you won't take down lies, or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Whether or not this was part of the Democratic agenda, it is important legislators regulate misinformation being spread on social media. People believe anything without doing research.
What politicians that they may or may not vote for
So
are
you
saying
won't take
judge
them
their
down.
character for themselves.
So you won't take, you may flag that it's wrong, but you won't take it down.
Congresswoman, it depends on the context that it shows up.
The importance of ad campaigns in the upcoming 2020 election will be monumental. A large majority of the population get their news primarily from social media. In other words, the political party that controls social media heavily influences the election.
You discussed so-called social media bias against conservatives, and do you believe there is a bias?
Congresswoman,
Her successes didn't come without criticism, and her interviews were dissected and fact-checked relentlessly.
Congresswoman AOC isn't telling you is that to even come close to paying for the programs that she supports, taxes would have to be raised not only for the rich, but for everyone.
I want to thank you all again so much for showing up, because once again, this is a call to organize. This is a call to reorganize and to make sure that we are fighting for a just economy, for a just society, a just environment, and a just future for the United States of America and the world.
It's real. It's happening. And I think people should, look at the facts a lot more. But I also feel like the government's hiding a lot from us, because people aren't allowed to travel in certain places, and we should be able to see physically what's happening around the world and what's going on. But people should also be more interested to educate themselves on that.
AOC's heart is in the right place, and she has nothing but my respect for a grassroots-funded campaign. But to be able to go head-to-head with some of her fiercest conservative competitors, she needs to lay down accurate facts to support her ideals.
I did not hear from her, and this is not the first time that she's declined to debate me. She ignored a TV station which came forward and said that they would actually sponsor a conversation between the two of us. And I think that this indicates that she doesn't understand the platform upon which she stands for. It would make sense for her to want to come forward and defend her ideas, but of course, her ideas do not make sense beyond on the paper, the utopian concepts that she preaches. So it's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised whatsoever.
Yeah, she put her...
Candace received national attention back when she was in high school because of racist threats she received via voicemail. The family ended up receiving $30,000 in a settlement over lack of protection for Owens' rights.
Because this is literally why Black America loses right here. Because we allow people
with cameras to go hear a whole speech, like they do this to me all the time. They take out a couple of sentences you said, and they create a whole new headline. And people that were not there get incensed and get emotional and don't actually go back to hear what was actually said in full context. They do it to me all the time. I know they do it to Trump. He has denounced white supremacy so many
My thoughts on the Brexit is a mixed bag. I feel like the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party looking out for us, and for the most part, their ideals fit with people who look like me, people who live the way I live. But at the same time, I don't feel like anybody is relegated to having a political alliance based off of skin color. I feel like you do your own research, you determine what you believe in, what you feel we need, what you feel you need to develop. So it doesn't bother me as long as everyone's doing the research they need.
Candace resurfaced in the viral video about George Floyd. Whether or not people agree with her statements is a subjective topic, but far-right wingers will certainly utilize this as ammunition. Candace has made a career out of causing controversy with the Brexit movement, mixing cynicism with facts to portray a sobering reality.
And I really want to pause and drive this point home, so let me restate it. In lieu of celebrating his independence in America, Colin got on a plane and went to Africa, a continent upon which he found better grounds for celebration, which is interesting. It's interesting because currently, today in Africa, there are close to 700,000 slaves, and this is going to shock the heck out of the too woke to see what's in front of them crowd, but they are not being enslaved by white people. They are being enslaved by other Africans. Child soldiers, human trafficking, forced labor all exist within the same sub-Saharan region that the transatlantic slave trade took place. African bodies are...
Which period are we talking about? The period when women couldn't vote? The period when we were hanging from trees?
I'll answer.
Or like the crack era? Which period in America are you trying to make America like
So
it is?
I actually think that I would totally rock a hat right now that said "Make Black America Great Again," because Black
No,
America.
make America.
Before,
We're talking about make
not the hat.
America.
But
That wasn't the
no,
question.
I am answering your question.
Which period was America great that we're trying to replicate?
Well,
Which era was it? Tell me.
I think I'll answer your question.
Tell me.
I'm ready to answer your question.
Which era was it?
What?
Which era was so great?
Here's the thing that you guys are forgetting. America was actually one of the slavery was all over the world. All over the world. America was. No, I'm not saying it's okay. So why are you saying oh?
Hey man.
America was one of the first countries.
I want to like you so bad.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Smart. I want to like you so much.
I can't answer the question.
I want to hear you. I want to be able to hear them. I want to be able to hear them.
If I can't answer the question and you're just going to boo when I say slavery was all over the world, which is a fact, why are you booing a fact?
Because you're making light of.
No, I'm not.
You're making light
I
of
haven't
the
gotten to my points.
enslavement
I'm not
of
making
people that look like us. You can't make light of that. That ain't nothing you
I haven't
breeze
even
over.
finished the sentence. How am I making light of
You
anything?
started with some bullshit.
Okay.
The drivers, led by reigning Cup Series champion Kyle Busch in green, and the entire garage area has rallied around Bubba Wallace and the number 43 today.